Hello, this is Stacy Thomas, UR14CS002, explaining Web Technology Lab Exercise number 5, JavaScript DOM Elements and Events. First, I will show you the output. So for this, I've made a BMI calculator. So first I've made a table and I've inserted, I've made an input type of text for my height and weight, and then I've made a button to calculate, after I press the calculate button, and then I've made a B score as an ID so that this is to show the output. So when the calculate button is clicked, it'll call the function. And since I've given height and weight as my ID, it'll get stored in H and W respectively, and the score will, I'm storing the calculated value into score, and then I have a if-else control statement, and it would go to the respective underweight, normal, overweight, or obese, and then it'll get printed. So I'll show you the output. Wait, I'm giving 45, I'm giving 1.6, and then when I click this button, the calculate function will be called, and it will display the value. So it shows that the calculated value that it's underweight. For my next output, I'm going to show you a fruit farm, which will take in two inputs. So I have two text types, and I have the rows and columns, and then when I give the rows and columns, it'll either show an apple and an orange, but with a random generator. So it will use the random generator, math function to calculate to show the pictures in the respective column or row. So first I take the row and column, and then I call on when I click the button, it'll call the grow function, and then the rows and columns it gets stored into the row and column variable. And then I have a for loop which iterates through I and j. For each row and column, it'll generate a random number, and then for those numbers, if the number is 0 or if the number is 1, I'll have the apple or orange fruit farm generated. So I have, for my rows, I have 2, and then for my columns, I have 3. And then when I click on this, the function is being called, and I have 2 rows and 3 columns with the apple and orange image stored in this, and it's shown in any random order. The number sequence is in any order. For the next one, I have a money converter. So this is from either Indian rupees to US dollars, or from US dollars to Indian rupees. So I've staked, I have a text box and I input the value, then ID of data, and then I have a select ID as from, and then to. And when I click on the button, the convert function is called. In the convert function, I have the from and to values used, and I'm retrieving the value and putting it into index and value 1. Now, if the index that's being retrieved is US dollar, I'm converting that to Indian rupees by multiplying this value, and then I'm just displaying it. And if the from value, which is stored in index, is Indian rupees, then I'm multiplying times this value, and then I'm displaying it. So over here I'm putting 200, I'm changing this from US dollars to Indian rupees. So this is 200 US dollars, I'm converting it into Indian rupees, and then I have the value, which is right here. The next one is the length of a string. So I want to find the shortest and the longest length in a string. So I already have my string, hello, this is Stacy, that's the name of my string. And so I have a button for both the longest and the shortest, and it'll call the longest word function and the shortest word function respectively. And the way I'm displaying this is by, I have a name, and I've called it long W, short W, and I also have a form name for string 1. And then under both my functions, I have a string that's stored in str, then I'm using str.split. This splits each word where there is a space, so when a space is encountered, it'll stop and it'll store it like an array. So this would be position 0. This word hello would be stored in str at position 0. This would be at 1, and so on. So now I'm setting the longest equal to 0 and word equal to null. So for each time longest is less than longest, which is 0, is less than the first position of my string, I'm gonna check whether the first position and the next position, str dot length, which one is greater. So for each word in the string, I'm gonna check whether hello is greater than this by using str.length. Now if hello, which the str.length is greater than this, the word this, if it's greater, I'm going to store that new word into longest, and then I'm going to display it as word. Similarly, for the shortest, I store the first word when the split string encounters a space into the first position of the array, which is at position 0. Now from the next position on, which is str at position 1, if the str.length, which is the length of the string, is greater, I want to, if the length of the string is shorter, I want to store that as the word, because now I want the shortest word, and then I'm going to display the shortest word. So for this, for hello, this is Stacy. Stacy has 6 letters, and is has 2 letters, which would be the longest and the shortest. So the longest word comes as Stacy, and the shortest word comes as is. The next one is heads or tails. So I'm going to flip a coin, and randomly I'm going to get whether heads or tails, and then I want to put a count whether if it's a head or if it's a tail. So each time there's a head, I want to increase the value for this, and then for tails, I'm going to increase it as well. So when it turned to tail, it turned to 1, heads turned to 1, tails turned to 2, heads turned to 2, so on. So what I've done for this, I first put 2 images, head and tail, and when I click on the flip function, the flip function will be called, and I've set variable hnum, which is for heads, and tnum equal to 0. This is for the count, that's why I initialize it to 0. And so now I have the random count with the random generator. So when the number equals 1, after I get a value from the random generator, and the number equals 1, I want to increase the hnum to display the count. And then what I want to do is I want to show the head function, the head picture. So I want to flip the coin with the head, and then when the random generator gives me 2, I want to increase the tail count, and then I want to flip the coin to tail. And then this is where the hnum and the tnum is being displayed for the count. I just use the num heads get element by id.inner html, and then I equate it to hnum, and similarly with to tnum. The next one is a cake order. So for the cake order, I just put in the number of cakes, small cakes I want. Suppose I want 20 small cakes, and then I want 5 medium cakes, and then I want 6 large cakes. And then this is to calculate the tip, which at the end will be added on to the price. And when I click on the calculate order, it'll call the cake function. And then it'll give me the cost of my order, the total cost of my order after the tip is included within the price. So for this, I've taken 3 input types, a small, medium, large for each of the for the number of cakes for each type. And then I have for tip, I have 3 radio input types. So these radio buttons are used, I've given them 10, 15, and 20 to show that these are of tip 10, 15, and 20, 10, 15, and 20%. And then when I click on the button, I've called on the cake function. So for the small cake, I've used get element by ID for all 3, small, medium, and large. And the price is calculated with this function. For the small cakes, it's 100, and then 200 and 400. And then for tax, I take in this price and I've calculated a price which is given. And then this for the calculation of the tip, I've used a query selector. This just gives me whatever query that I've done. I want to, wherever the name tip is, like here the name is tip for each of the input types, so I've taken the name for the query selector, and then wherever it is checked, I want to take the value of what radio button was checked. So whatever was checked, I'll get that value for the tip, and then the price will be calculated for using this price plus price times tip divided by 100, and then I'm just displaying the value. I'm using get element by id.innerHTML, and I'm displaying the price, and for the cost of order I'm using a span ID. So this price is inputted here and the price is shown over here. So this is the end of experiment 5.